When should you collect Social Security? That's what we're going to learn today. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly when you should start collecting Social Security. And not just when you should start, but how to start thinking about all of the different variables that surround Social Security. So as a reminder, my name is Ari Taublieb. I'm a financial planner. I help people retire early. When people ask me, when should I collect Social Security? I always tell them that if you see an article anywhere that says you should collect at 67 or 62 or 70, well, all of those articles are not custom to you. And that seems like common sense, but here's why that's important. No one should ever tell you when to collect Social Security because that's assuming they know exactly when you're going to pass away. It's assuming they know your tax situation. It's assuming they know how you're invested. It's all of these different things put together what really builds a comprehensive financial plan. And so when you think about Social Security alone, what we don't want to do is what's known as vacuum planning, where you look at Social Security over here and investments and taxes. The bulk of today's video is Social Security, of course, but please know that all of these connect. So make sure you have your investments dialed in and taxes and just a framework around that. But let's just hop right into today's topic. So a complete guide to Social Security is the name of this video for a reason. I want you to understand by the end of this video when you should start collecting Social Security. Number one to think about is when are you going to pass away? I know, I don't mean to start dark, but here's why that's important. Is if you knew that you were going to pass away at age 63, if you just knew that for any reason, which I certainly hope that's not the case, but if you knew that that was the case, well then the answer is most likely going to be let's collect at 62, which is as early as you can collect today. So that's assuming you know exactly if you're going to pass away at 63. What if you're going to pass away at 71? Well, what makes most sense? Should you have collected at age 70? No. The reason for that in this basic example is if you collect at 62, you're going to collect for more years, even if it's a lesser amount. Therefore, you'd have a net higher amount as opposed to collecting at age 70, although a higher amount in one, call it individual year, and then passing away. Now, basic enough there, but here's why I bring that up. No one will know exactly when it makes most sense to collect Social Security because it's assuming that we know this variable we'll never know. So number one, when are you going to pass away? How to start thinking about life expectancy. Number one is, are there serious health concerns? If there aren't, great. Let's assume 90, 95, 100 and say, how should we maximize our benefit? Well, right there off the bat, if you don't have health concerns, well, collecting at age 70 is going to make most financial sense in the sense of Social Security. Now, what it doesn't do is it doesn't take into consideration exactly how your investments are growing today, meaning, does it make most sense to collect Social Security so that you can live off of that income and that allows your investments to continue growing at an even higher rate? Or does it make sense to delay collecting Social Security, live off of your investments or other income, call it pension or rental income? That way, your Social Security benefit can be higher and it gets higher every year. And then when you do collect, you have that lifetime higher amount. That's really the question that we're asking ourselves. So let's look at a very basic example. Let's assume that your full retirement age benefit at age 67 is $3,000 a month. Well, you could collect then, or you could collect at age 62, which is the earliest you can collect Social Security, which would be $2,100 a month, or you could delay at age 70 and collect at $3,700 a month. So once again, $2,100 a month at age 62, $3,000 a month at age 67, or $3,700 a month at age 70. What makes most sense for your situation? If you lived until age 90 and you started collecting at age 62, you would have accumulated $731,000. If you were to live until age 90 and collect at 67 instead of 62, you would have ended up with $864,000. And finally, if you were to collect at not 62, not 67, but age 70, you would end up with $932,000, assuming you pass away at age 90. And once again, I'm sorry, I have to kill you off at some point. But the reason I bring this up is to show you that if you were to wait till age 70, you would have had the net most amount of dollars, quite simply. So off the bat, it looks like that makes most sense, but it doesn't in all cases. Here's why. If your life expectancy is below, call it age 78, well, it would very well make most sense to collect as early as possible to maximize your benefit. Even if it's a smaller payment, it's for more years. So that break-even age, which you might have heard of before, between age 78 to 81, that's when you're going to start asking yourself, okay, if you were to pass away for any health concerns or any reason, that's when you're starting to look at, okay, would we have not, call it, optimized our benefits? Well, that's what would have occurred if you're in that 78 to 81 range. That's known as the break-even age. When does it make sense? When do you break even? When are you a little under, a little over? And start to think about, okay, how am I making sure that I'm maximizing my benefit based off of what I've paid into for my life? So how much does Social Security grow by every year? If you can collect Social Security between age 62 and 67, and you're thinking about, hey, when does it make most sense? Well, every year that you delay, your benefit is growing by 5.5%. It's guaranteed to grow by 5.5%. So you could look at that and go, hey, that's a pretty good reason to delay year over year. However, if you could do better than that in the markets and guarantee it, it may very well make most sense to invest instead. So meaning, does it make sense to collect early and invest those funds? Should you collect at 62 and invest? And if you can do better than 5.5%, then yes, it does make sense. Now, although you can't guarantee that, meaning the stock market historically does 10% per year if you're just looking at the S&P 500. However, that's assuming that you are going to get that every year, which is not what's going to occur. When you invest, if you've invested long enough, you know that that's not going to occur every year. So the question is, if you need the funds and you want to make sure that you are maximizing it, well then delay collecting Social Security. However, if you go, hey, I don't need these funds, but I want to maximize my overall financial picture, it very well make most sense to collect early and invest those funds as opposed to just letting them delay at that 5.5% rate. So between age 62 and 67, you grow by 5.5%, meaning every year you delay, that's how much your benefit goes up by. Now, that's a cumulative benefit, so it goes up by 5.5%, 5.5%, 5.5%. It's not a compounded benefit. The one thing to know here is that that's from 62 to 67. What about from 67 to 70? Well, every year you delay there, it's a cumulative benefit of 8% more dollars that you would have when you lock in that rate. So why is that important? Well, if you're determining, hey, I need to maximize my lifetime income, I don't have any other investments, and you want to work until 67, call it 70, and you need money, if you're in that range, it very well make most sense to delay collecting so you have the largest benefit possible throughout your lifetime. Now, if we could guarantee a rate of return higher than 8%, well, then we certainly would, of course, want to take the funds early and invest it. But because we cannot, well, that's the benefit of collecting earlier. Now, of course, there's so many pros and cons here, and I'm going to now work through just a few other considerations to start. What if you have a spouse? When does it make most sense for them to collect? Well, your spouse can either collect their own benefit that they've been paying into for many years. Now, what does Social Security do when they look at how to calculate this? They look at your 35 highest years of earnings. So when people ask, hey, how should I be looking at Social Security? When does it make most sense? Having 1, 2, or 3 extra years of work, well, that can really increase your overall Social Security benefit. So with your spouse, they can take their own benefit, or they can take a spousal benefit, which is half of your benefit at your full retirement age. So it's not half of your benefit at age 70, but it's half at whatever your full retirement age, which is most likely 67 or 66 in 8 months or 10 months. So that is what they are eligible for. Now, survivor benefits with Social Security explain that you can take either your own benefit or the higher benefit of that who has passed. So more often than not, you're going to want to do that, but that's why Social Security is not a single decision. It's a decision with your partner. Because if you are both collecting at 62 and God forbid anything happens, well, if you both have an amount that's not, call it optimized, in the sense that one of you could have staggered and waited till full retirement age or age 70 so that should anything occur, they get that higher benefit for the rest of their lifetime, well, that's something that we need to consider. This is not just a decision for you, it really is for your partner as well. The last thing I'm going to leave you with here is that Social Security can bring peace of mind. Knowing you're going to have that income for the rest of your life, well, that can be wonderful. Now, I know a lot is going on with Social Security and when they're determining of, hey, will it be there? And if it will, to what extent? Let me say that I've been speaking with clients for many years now who have told me that they've been hearing about Social Security since they were a child, about when that's going to go away, and it hasn't quite yet. In fact, I don't think it will for longer than most expect. However, that's just my opinion. What I do believe is that Social Security, having that paycheck replaced, can be a tremendous weight that can be lifted off. And so if you're just living off your investments saying, hey, I want to delay my Social Security, but that's causing you to lose sleep, well, then that's defeating the purpose of what we're doing here. What I would ask is comment below, what is your social security strategy? What are you thinking? I love that you both can interact, and all of you can interact with each other on YouTube. That's what's so amazing about it. So comment below, and then always let me know if you have a specific question or a topic you want me to make an episode on. Leave that in the comments as well. And then once again, it's more fun to retire with your friends and family. So please share this video with them so that they can understand when to collect Social Security. And then as always, subscribe and make sure to turn on that bell so you can be notified of any new videos that I post. Lastly, this is the work that I do. I help people create a strategy to retire early. I want you to know, at the very least, when are you in a position where work is now optional? How does this connect to your Social Security strategy? How does this connect to your investments, your taxes? So that is what I do. I have the best job in the world. If you're ever interested in going through a planning process with either me or a member of my team, you can always reach out to me. Links are in the description for how to do exactly that. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't know, I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and this is what I love doing. I help people create a custom strategy to retire early. You can always reach out to me or a member of our team here at Root, and we would be happy to walk you through our planning process to show you how we can help you get more life out of your money.